Hello, Night Nation. I'm Trey Strelko. He is Adam Eaton. Welcome in to Sons of UCF Live. Adam, you're wearing your Halloween costume again this week, or what's going on there?
No, this is although Frost looked like he was decked out, looked like he hit the bookstore right before he got to the podium there in this Canaveral blue. But it's Space Week, Trace. We got to get in the mood here, got to get in the theme. So we're all space all the time here at the Sons of UCF.
You know, on the game show Jeopardy, they have that audio daily double, and so I have a question for you. If you play the sounder,
You have a question for me?
Yeah.
Is it something like this?
Do you believe in magic?
Do you know the name of that group? I just know that lyric.
I do because you sent it to me. The Odd Spoonfuls or something like that.
Isn't it Lovin' Spoonful?
There you go. Same.
Do you, Adam Eaton, believe in space game magic?
Trace, I have no reason not to at this point. We're 8-0. We've never lost in a space game. I really need a win on Friday night. We need this as a stepping stone to maybe 6 wins. So I have no choice but to put my full faith and energy behind. If it works for Dylan Risk, it's got to work for us, right?
If Dylan Risk can go down in history, winning a space game.
Yeah. He threw a Hail Mary that was like 40 yards that we call a Hail Mary. But either way, if it can happen for Dylan Risk, it can happen for all of us too.
This is it, really, right? We say the season is on the line. The Knights did not steal a game in Waco, Texas last week, losing to Baylor 30-3. They welcome in Houston. Hey, West Virginia beat them. So anything is possible, right, Adam?
Anything is possible, Trace. But I mean, UCF has protected the home field outside of Kansas pretty well. Even in that game, they were in it for a while there. So you got to hope that the home field advantage helps out a little bit. A little space game, a little night, a little extra juice in the old building there. Perhaps that gets things in the right methodology here. But with this team, man, you could flip a coin. I think you think they're ready. You think they're going to do something, they don't. You think they're not going to do something, they do. I think this entire team has been a coin flip all year long.
Houston at UCF is our one big thing, and here's Andrew Cherico.
One big thing.
Now at 4-4 on the season, UCF is going down to the wire to receive bowl game eligibility. The Knights dropped a massive opportunity against Baylor, and Coach Frost emphasized in his game week presser, there's only one way to recover from a loss as bad as they did. But now the Knights will have an opportunity to redeem themselves against Houston in the space game.
Well, if I had a team that wasn't disappointed when they lost, then I got the wrong guys. I want guys to be pissed when we lose. But I want guys to understand that when that happens, there's only one alternative, only one choice, and that's just to go back to work and work harder and get a little bit better. And a little bit better would have given us a lot different record this year. So again, it isn't mountains of things we need to change. We just got to get a little better across the board.
With 4 games left in the season, the magic number for UCF is 2, and the pressure will be on them to drop that down to 1 under the Friday night lights in the bounce house. And until next time, I'm Andrew Cherico for the Sons of UCF.
Scott Frost saying there, we just got to get a little bit better across the board. Do you, Adam, think it's that close?
It didn't look it on Saturday, right? Like it didn't look like we were a team that was ready to play on Saturday. So if that's his last glimpse of what close is, I'm not aligned with that. Now he's seeing more than you and I are seeing in practices and in film rooms. So maybe he's seeing something that we're not seeing. And yes, we all have that day where you stub your toe and you're not your best. If that's what happened on Saturday against Baylor, then so be it. But based on the last time this team was on the football field, it didn't feel like we were close to anybody at that point.
Quarterback Taven Jackson didn't look himself either, right? And I don't know, we've seen him with this complete game where he's felt healthy. It seems like he's been oft injured throughout the season, but timing was off in that game against Baylor. He just didn't look right.
Yeah, like the entire offense looked disjointed from the start, right? 8 penalties total, 7 on the offense. 5 of them are probably more mental in nature, procedural penalties, delay of games, right? The entire operation just didn't seem like it was clicking from the start. I don't know what that was, if it was communication issues. I know Frost has addressed some of that stuff, but the entire operation looked pretty clunky from the start. And look, we forget, we probably won't know for a while how bad is the injury Taven Jackson is dealing with, right? And how much is that really impacting what he can do, what he wants to do, what Frost allows him to do. You notice he hasn't really run a ton since the injury, so that was at least a part of his game that was a threat. It wasn't the main part, but he was a threat to at least turn the corner on one. Yeah, I just wonder how much this injury is really impacting him. But the entire operation, from start to finish. And yeah, sure, Taven's the guy under center, so he's going to get some of the blame for that, right? But I think all 11 plus coaching staff, I think it was a total team disruption there.
A total team.
Total team. Yes.
Yeah. Quarterback Taven Jackson was out and about this week at a grand reopening of a Planet Fitness in Oviedo. I said it like Octo did. We have a lot of new faces, and I know where it is.
Nope,
right
nobody's going to get that. Yeah, nobody's going to get that.
No, because we have a lot of new faces. One of our new interns, Octavius Lawrence, is doing some pre-show stuff and referred to it as Ovidio, but it's Oviedo. And Octo caught up with Taven Jackson talking about this Houston game on Friday.
But this week we've done a good job in practice, doing the things that we do well. So I'm excited for this game, and then to top it off, the uniforms and the whole Space U game. That's a cool experience. It's going to be my first one.
So I have a theory here that maybe with 60 plus players, 70 depending on the day and who's mentioning the number, I don't know that all of these guys are as invested in the space game. And I think it's interesting what Miles Montgomery said about it sort of being the de facto rivalry game. The concept of the space game has players fired up, and he's only participated in what now will be 2 of them. What do you think of that theory, that it might not mean as much to them because they're only going to be here this one time?
Well, I don't know if it won't mean much just because it won't only be here for a year. They just haven't experienced it yet. So perhaps for those who haven't had a chance to play in it, you don't really know what you're getting yourself into until you walk into the stadium and uniforms and astronauts are everywhere, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is different, right? So perhaps they just don't have that context of what this means. And I guess as you're phrasing that, there's only a handful of guys on the team that do have that context. So, maybe it's more difficult for the new guys to truly understand that. And perhaps when the ball's in the air and the lights are low and everyone's kind of cheering around, maybe it'll all of a sudden be like, all right, this is a different feeling. But yeah, you can't fault Cole Kozlowski, Taven Jackson for saying all the right things, but maybe just not really fully aware yet of what this is until they get a chance to get out on the field.
Taven Jackson, the starting quarterback. We know that Cam Fancher is out again for this game following the rib injury a couple of weeks ago. Anything else stand out to you on the injury report released midweek by UCF?
Yeah, I mean, Paul Rubelt not listed, right? He'd been out the previous game. He played a little bit against Baylor, not on this report, so all indications would be that he must be available to play. Ja'Curry Brown not listed on this report again for the second straight week. So who is really QB2 if something does happen to Taven? Is that Davi Belfort? Is it Ja'Curry Brown? So that sticks out. Obviously, Marcus Burke questionable from a receiver perspective. UCF already pretty thin and inexperienced at that position. Having guys out on that wide side of the field, probably not the best thing for UCF. So maybe it's the guys who aren't on the report that are more interesting than really the guys who are right now.
Every week you have opportunity to speak with UCF Athletic Hall of Famer Latavius Murray, part of Knights 24/7 with Latavius Murray. And it's a question we've debated on Around the Kingdom on Sons of UCF Live as well. And you spoke with Latavius about what this team's offensive identity, establishing it. What is it?
If you're just kind of week by week doing something differently and changing kind of who you are, or guys are somewhat doing something different week in and week out, that I think that does kind of make it harder for success. And then he mentioned how, we can't run simple run plays. That was a quote I remember him saying. And, he kind of has to get creative. And so, again, I think that all follows to, it's much harder to not have an identity, not be able to just line up and run the ball, so to speak, as he said. And then you're doing so much creating, versus just kind of, sticking to an identity, who you are and your bread and butter.
I'll tell you what, I've been confused over these weeks. Knights 4-4, 1-4 in the Big 12. At one point, Scott Frost said he needed to be a little more creative, and then he sort of dialed that back a couple weeks later, saying, got to keep it a little more simple. And I'm not quite sure what we saw in Waco.
Yeah, I think Latavia said it well there, right? Like if you're everything, you're nothing, right? Every week we're trying to do something different, trying to be creative, trying to do, whatever. All I know is 3rd and 4th and 1. It seems to be the biggest Achilles heel for this team so far. And there was one game where we weren't creative enough. I think it's Baylor. We're throwing to the guard eligible in the end zone. There's got to be a happy medium there. And I think that's what Latavius is giving voice to is what is this identity? Are we a smash mouth football team? Are we a team that's going to be able to, to throw the ball over the top? What are we? I think every week it seems like it's a little something different. And just when you think we've mastered one area, the next game comes and all of a sudden we haven't. And I think that's the part where I think all of us are kind of still trying to figure out. I mean, Frost said, preseason that, I think I asked him the question. I asked him what the identity was, and he was like, we can go fast, we can go slow, we can go tempo. He rattled off all the good words, and we've seen all of that, but none of it has really been consistently well executed. I think that's the part where we're falling on now, saying I have no idea what to expect from this offense week in and week out. You might as well flip a coin, and I think Latavius gave voice to it. Is if you're trying too much to be creative and you don't have an identity, then what is your football team standing behind? And I don't know that we know that 8 games into the season.
Full interview on Knights 24/7 with Latavius Murray. And when you think of Smash Mouth, you think of our first guest. He is Ryan Swoboda, former UCF offensive lineman, good enough to return to Sons of UCF Live. Ryan, hello.
How's it going? I was beginning to think you guys weren't going to call me back, but it's okay. I'll forgive you for that.
Well, we were beginning to think you might be called to play offensive line at UCF.
Hey, I'm 265 now. They don't want me out there. I'll be a blocking tight end though.
Have you ever caught a pass in a game?
No, I have not. But I had 3 starts at tight end in my career, and I had a tackle eligible play dialed up. Well, this was at Virginia. Coach Malzahn didn't believe in my hands, but the week of practice before we had the tackle throwback, I broke my thumb. So I had to play with this big whatever thing on my hand, like the big round thing. And we called.
Is it a cast? It's not a cast. Is it?
It was a soft cast.
A club, like a club.
This like that, right?
Nice.
We
Okay.
called the play in the huddle, and I was like, "Does he know? Like I have like a club on my hand right now?" And the quarterback, he actually goes, he like looks back and like, no, run to the left. So he gave it to the left tackle, my boy Bobby. But that was my one chance, and I didn't get it because I had a stupid broken finger. But
And it haunts you. It haunts you to this day.
It does. When you ask that, like I had a flashback. Yeah, it does haunt me.
So there's been a lot of conversation over the last week whether this 30-3 loss in Waco to Baylor was the worst of Frost's career in his 2 stints at UCF. I'm not going to ask you that. What's the worst loss that you have ever experienced in any sport?
In terms of just getting a blowout?
And well, whatever you consider the worst loss.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about my Virginia days because no, I take it back. I'm not going to talk about that. The Navy game. It has to be the Navy game. That was like, I feel ill just thinking about that one.
I've really started the show off well with you.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Oh man, let's talk about
All right. That Navy game was a lot of bad for a lot of us. So not just
man. That one stunk.
All right, one more question. This would be easy. How can the Knights not get a yard? How do you just not consistently get a yard? I'm just 3 in a row, Ryan.
Yeah. It's as an offensive lineman, that's kind of what you pride yourself on. When you're on like the 1 yard line on the goal line, you just scorch a man, and that should be it. But things change when it's short yardage. Like you have designated practice periods for short yardage and goal line because now you have more one-on-ones. Like they're tighter up. The objective of the blocking scheme changes, and really, if one person messes up, the play gets blown up. Like that's it. So I don't think like I watch it and I'm not thinking like, man, we're just getting like dog washed here. It's always just kind of one guy, one mess up, and that sucks when it's not consistent. And it's always feels like it's somebody different. But that's it. It's always just one block away, like one thing away. But that's what goal line is. It's like 7 one-on-ones, and you just have to win them. So it's so frustrating. But we're winning 6 out of 7 blocks, but you lose one, and it keeps getting blown up. So I think it's just a lack of consistency because we just can't get one play where all 7 are winning. But we're winning a lot. It's just that's kind of the name of the game when it comes to short yardage. But it sucks to watch, like when we can't get them. I know.
Ryan, you were in the green room when we were talking about the space game. Obviously, you only played in one space game. You transferred into UCF, and so we were kind of asking the question. I'm curious your opinion on it. Did you understand the space game when you got to UCF? Did it kind of hit you once you played it? Like, how did you approach the space game? The opportunity you had to play in one.
Yeah, I didn't really know a ton about it, but the energy in the air, like there's something about like you have a cool uniform and then um I don't know, like something gets in your blood. Like you're not UCF anymore. You're a Citronaut. So I understood pretty quickly and we dog washed whoever we played that game. I think we scored 70
Temple,
and
yeah.
yeah, Temple. And I don't know, like something just gets in you. Um I think it's a nighttime game usually, or the one game against Oklahoma State was a rain game, so there's something like just feels different. So no, I didn't know going into it, but the second you start the game, you feel it. You feel the energy because you got guys who have been in it. Like Paul's played in probably like 19 space games by now, probably.
He's
So
played in more of them than there have been games.
I think so. So yeah, there will be people there that understand it and they'll bring you guys along. And that's what happened. Like I saw Sam Jackson and like he knows what it was all about. So just kind of followed that lead.
As a player, Ryan, do you believe in the concept of space game magic? UCF 8-0 in space games, never lost a space game. Do you believe in the concept of like, hey, something unique and special like that can galvanize a team, even though they haven't been a part of all 8 in the previous?
Absolutely. I mean, the Citronauts do not lose football games. Like, sure, the Knights lost pretty badly last week, but the Knights are not playing this Friday. The Citronauts are playing, and you do not bet against the Citronauts. So, yeah, that's call it magic, call it whatever. Like, it's the best team in the history of college football. They've never lost. Like, you can argue there's never been a better team ever. So, yes, I believe in that.
Ryan, a year after the Knights played 4 different quarterbacks and none injured. The Knights have been injured all season long at various points with quarterbacks and have somehow played 5. Is Taven Jackson the guy?
Yes. I mean, I like Taven. I thought he's played well when he's played the wins that we had. If I'm not
What do you like?
mistaken
What do you like most?
about Taven,
Yeah.
gosh, dude, when I'm watching the games, like I'm watching the old line, like I can tell if it's a good play based on the protection usually. I mean, Taven, it seems like the offense kind of flows pretty well. He has mobility. He's a bigger dude. It looks like he's made all the throws. I'm not going to evaluate quarterback play. I don't know if he's probably missed some too, but seems like he's made all the throws and sounds like he's got eligibility. I know the guys that I still talk to on the old line there. They really like him. Sounds like he's a good leader. He's a good guy. Yeah, I think he's the guy. I'm sure, Scott Frost seems like the kind of coach who will always have competition. I'm sure this offseason there'll be competition. And I'd imagine Taven would not want it any other way. So if he embraces the competition and goes to win the job next year, I'm all on board. I'll wear a Taven Jackson jersey and I'll be rooting for him when he wins the job.
Coach Frost has talked about the need for more explosive plays, and you've seen those from running back Jaden Nixon. And then somehow he gets 3 carries last week and a porous Baylor defense. How does it make sense?
You guys know I'm not a coach, right? I just block people.
But I trust your judgment on football.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll relate it back to like our year. Johnny Richardson averaged 9 yards a carry or something ridiculous, and Isaiah Bowser probably averaged 4. But if you gave Johnny Isaiah's touches and Isaiah Johnny's touches, it probably wouldn't work well because there are certain plays that you want a speed guy, like a guy to get the edge, and there's those plays that you want somebody who's going to stick their nose in the B gap. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like maybe we're trying to give Jaden some of the more gadget wide zone hitting plays. I got the RJ Harvey game on him, distracted. Thursday Night Football, but I don't know. I feel like when you got a senior like Miles who does everything right, because there's more that goes into it than just somebody hitting the big run. There's the blocking. There's executing the run the proper way. I mean, I'm watching the TV and I'm like, I think Jaden should get more touches. Every time he touches the ball, it's electric. So I don't love it, but I know there's a lot that goes into it. And if I'm not mistaken, Jaden, this is last year of eligibility. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam, check the video. I think on these shows we may have called for Johnny Richardson to get more touches
It
too.
was explosive back in those
Well,
days.
I mean, look at it. We had Isaiah Bowser, who was probably the best running back in the league at the time, and some guy named RJ Harvey was behind him. And everybody's saying, why isn't RJ getting more touches? And what time it comes, because Isaiah has been there, he's done that, and sometimes you want a vet to get those touches, especially when times are tough. Like RJ, as talented as he was at that time, he'd probably tell you he hasn't been in those situations, so you kind of want to lean on your vet who's been there, done that when times are tough. And then when you're up by a score or two scores, you want to give the talented guy and have them build confidence in those situations. I mean, when times are tough, nobody nobody looks good. O-line looks bad. Quarterback looks bad. Everybody looks bad when things are going bad. So yeah, Miles has been there. He's done that. And sometimes you need that guy to kind of get you out of the rut. So I trust Coach Frost with that, even if it's frustrating for me not being behind the scenes and knowing the true logic behind it.
Right. This is going to seem like a really stupid question, so I apologize. But UCF struggled with false starts this season, right? There have been a lot of those. How does that happen, A? And how do you fix that? As a player, how does that – is it just you didn't hear the snap count, or you get a little nervous? Like, how do false starts actually happen as an O-lineman?
Yeah. I mean, you should do 35 up downs in practice if you ever false start. That'll make a fear of you ever false starting. But there's a fine line, because I want to jump the snap as a tackle. Sometimes, if I don't jump the snap, I almost don't have a chance against some of these D linemen that are so good. So you want to get right up to that line of cheating and not getting a false start. But now I get a false start or two false starts, it's not worth it. I'd rather give up a TFL than have my name called by the stupid zebra. But you just have to really be tuned in to the snap count, and that just is reps, and you practice it. Like when I was with the Jets, we would all close our eyes, and Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback at the time, and he would just say the snap count. We'd all move our hand at the same time and just make sure we're all on the same page of when he wants the ball snap, when he's expecting the ball snap, when we all expect to move, and you just got to get in sync with that. So, I mean, it sounds like we're not really in sync on that, but that takes time, and you just got to rep that out. But you also don't want to be so paranoid of having a false start that now I'm a step behind on my block, because that sucks too. So it's harder than it sounds, because I know you watching, how are you moving on that? But when you're so dialed in and your heart rate's at 175, and that guy is built like a Greek god, and that guy wants to kill me, and I'm thinking, okay, there's about 4 blitzes they can do. Where am I going to go? Oh, crap, I moved. It was on 2. It happens. So, you just want to limit them. But, yeah, I would say probably just if you're not confident in everything else and you're thinking about 5 other things, that's when the false starts usually kind of happen.
Brian, UCF has also done this thing this year where
we do play O-line with our high school.
where they've been kind of rotating some guys in and out, right? They have a couple of different units. I think, some guys are coming in and out. I think that's kind of slowed a little bit, but as an offensive lineman, how hard is that for you to have to, hey, you're in this series, you're out the next series. Hey, you're in this series. How much does that continuity or lack of maybe hurt the offensive line?
As a player, I don't love it, but if I'm managing a roster, I get it. One, you have to manage the transfer portal. You have to get guys footage. You have to get guys ready. If you got a senior who's starting, you don't want to go into spring ball with somebody who's never played a snap. So try and get him every other drive, maybe every 3 drives. I get that. But as a player, I don't love it. One of my least favorite things is I'm in, we have a great drive, or, we stall out and now I'm out for, 1 drive, but in reality, that's 40 minutes of real life time. So I don't love it. And, my least favorite thing in the world is seeing my brothers out there battling, and I'm just standing on the sideline kind of watching, oh, go get them, guys. When you're starting, you don't want to do that. But from a team management perspective, it actually makes a lot of sense, I think, especially when you have younger guys in the realms who need to take over next year, because the portal, who knows? Who knows who we're going to get, right? We might get 2 linemen, and now we have to have, guys on the roster right now be ready. So get them ready now. I get it.
Did you say you were at 265 pounds now? Is that what you said earlier?
265. Yep, lean and mean.
What's your high water mark?
High water. What is that?
What's the most you've ever weighed?
Oh, I was 342 at one point.
Playing?
Yeah, I was big body, and it's all in my gut.
Wow.
If you guys follow Ryan on social media, Ryan, I didn't want to do this to you, but I am here. We are now. I saw some pictures of you running a High Rocks race in a frog suit.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I'll never do that again. It was a frog suit. It was about 10,000 degrees. But it was a black. So the day before, me and my buddy who were doing the High Rocks, we go. One of the stations is burpee broad jump. So you broad jump like 80 meters, I think it is. And we're like, what if we were dressed as frogs but we were broad jumping? I was like, dude, I love it. So 2 Walmarts, 3 Spirit Halloweens, and a Target later, we found frog costumes. We got them, and we were the only people dressed up. It was Halloween weekend. We thought more people would dress up, but they didn't. Nobody's as crazy as we are. And we did it. We got a very good time. And yeah, I've been doing High Roxes now. It's something to train for because, I'm not doing football, so I get to train for something new. And but yes, we were frogs. We were first place in the amphibian division.
Good.
Yeah, first frogs. So
I'm more surprised you found a frog costume off the shelf to fit you.
Well, exactly. The shoulders aren't a problem anymore, but the arm length. If you look at the pictures, my buddy, his go all the way to his arms. Mine go like right about there.
Short sleeve frog.
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan Swoboda, we're glad to have you back on Sons of UCF Live, and we'll be glad to have you back again soon.
Always fun. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Ryan.
Yep. All right, Adam. He's inspired me. What do you think we do some sort of costume thing? You and I, we do some sort of competition.
And like a athletic competition, or just like
I'm not going to do that thing you do out in your yard where you jump on the box. I'm not doing that. You still do that? Have you done that lately?
I mean, the left knee is a little sore these days, so it's been some time since I've been up there on the jumping the old box there. But if you and I were going like pig outfits to some sort of a race, I mean, I'm in. I'll train. I'm ready to go. Tough Mudder could be an option for you. Do you know what these things are?
That's a tough one. We got to ease.
You'd be surprised. People like really have fun with some of those. Like, yeah, there are a lot of obstacles, but there's serious folks, and then there's the folks dressed as like the 3 blind mice. Like you can find your way in there.
All right, you work on finding us something. I just think it has to be kind of introductory. It can't be.
Well, again, you can
super
at your own pace. Yeah.
Is that one where they shock you as you go over the rope?
There is a shockable option.
I'm not interested in that one.
Well, you can do a penalty if you can sit it out. I think you can do a penalty. You do like 10 burpees or something, as opposed to doing the actual thing there. So there's a penalty option for you.
All right, let's work on that. No sitting out is Jeff Allen, who has our Big 12 minute.
BYU, by having the bye last week, remains in the top spot of the conference at 5-0. Cincinnati, after getting routed by Utah last week, drops to a second-place tie with Texas Tech a half game back. Houston, Utah, and Arizona State a game and a half back at 4-2. This week's schedule kicks off with the space game as UCF hosts Houston tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on FS1. Just 4 games round out the conference schedule on Saturday. Colorado is at West Virginia at noon on TNT. Number 7, BYU, and number 8, Texas Tech square off in Lubbock in the game of the weekend conference at noon on ABC. By the way, we are using the college football playoff rankings now for this exercise. At 3:30, Kansas tackles Arizona on ESPN2. Also at 3:30, TCU entertains Iowa State on Fox. It's a heavy bye week with Oklahoma State, Cincinnati, Arizona State, number 13, Utah, Baylor, and Kansas State all off the clock this week. With your Big 12 minutes, I'm Jeff Allen.
It was good to see Jeff ever briefly at a barbecue restaurant in Texas. He made the Baylor trip. Who do you like here? BYU, Texas Tech. That is the high-profile matchup in the Big 12. Big money on both sides.
Literally. Give me Texas Tech's at home, right? So give me Tech at home. I'll give them the home crowd advantage. But I do think it's a close game. Listen, I'm not a fan of a quarterback wearing the number 47 as BYU's QB does, but the kid's a good player, man. I'll give him that. But give me Texas Tech at home.
Where do you stand? It's something Elo and I debated on Around the Kingdom this week. Is this a 2-bid league? The Big 12. Do you see it where maybe they need to split in this situation here where they play, and then maybe in a Big 12 championship game?
Look, I think it could very well be 2 big league. I guess maybe I'm just jaded. I just think the committee, based on what I know of them, is going to find a way to get as many SEC teams as possible. So I think there's an opportunity. I think you can make an argument that the Big 12 should be a 2-bid league, but I could also see a place where they're like, you know what, Vanderbilt's cute. Let's put them in there because of their SEC. So I don't have any faith that this committee would actually do something like that and give a spot to a Big 12 versus an SEC or a Big 10.
New article up from you on the 365 Sports newsletter. How many words did you dedicate to that Baylor game?
I didn't count the words, a couple of paragraphs at least. And yeah, I think, what I wrote about in the article this week is really, I think it's, this team continues to kind of do the same things over and over again. Right. And at some point, when are we going to get better? When is that going to change? When's that going to be different? So I think that was the crux of my article is, when are we going to be able to see some of the fruits of this labor? We knew it was going to be a tough road. We knew there was some patience involved, but things aren't really necessarily always ticking in the right direction. So I think some tough decisions had to be made, and we've had the same things over and over again. So that's kind of the heart of the article that you find at 365sports.video, along with the rest of the Big 12, by the way. 16 articles, 16 videos, all Big 12, all the time. They have you covered. The guys do a great job at 365 Sports. So be sure to check that out and subscribe in your inbox every Wednesday morning.
There you go. Knights welcome in Houston, and we welcome in Sam Raz of the Scott and Holman podcast, part of the 1012 network of shows. Sam, hello.
Thanks for having me, guys. Trace, Adam, great to talk with y'all.
Good to see you. All right, so 4 turnovers. How does that happen? I mean, I watched the highlights. I saw how it happened, but for you must have been just shaking your head going, how is this happening?
And I think the worst part of it is it could have been more than 4. Like if you watched every minute of this game, the thing that was really weird to me, because I think the 2 throws, I mean, the second interception was, I think, no worse than top 2 for Connor Wigman's worst throws this year behind his man. The West Virginia DB didn't even have to break stride on it. The first one was kind of a thrown into double coverage ball that maybe is a little lower percentage that I think he got a bit unlucky on. But the weirdest part of it on Saturday was it just looked like Wigman was having a hard time gripping the football, which is where I think those possible other turnovers could have come from. Like, it was very uncharacteristic. Like, you'd had a good past several games coming into the game against West Virginia, but I think no area better than how he took care of the football, which made, I think, the performance against West Virginia harder to stomach than you'd even think, just seeing a team that was top 25 as double-digit favorite losing that one.
Friend of mine, dating back to the Houston game at Oregon State, had put me on fraud alert with regards to the Cougars, and he kept reminding me of that during the West Virginia game. How has this loss impacted the fan base and those that cover the team? Is there a little shake in confidence here?
I mean, somewhat. I think you can't have that experience in the most general terms, which is seeing your team with a number next to their name losing as a double-digit favorite, not have the confidence, like be at least a little lower than it was after seeing the previous week the team go out there and beat maybe a bit overranked, but still, I think, very good Arizona State team. But I think the team is ahead of schedule in 2025 such that I don't know if there's been a real radical rethink about this year's team. Like, it was a frustrating loss. I go so far as to say maybe even a little embarrassing loss, but I think a lot of Cougar fans before the season would have been pretty happy with 7 wins total from the 2025 regular season. That we sit here with 7 wins, even off of a frustrating loss on November 6th. I think is why I don't think you're going to see much confidence shaken across the Cougar fan base. Everyone's going to be a little chicken, little sky is falling after that kind of loss in the immediate aftermath. But in the broadest sense, no, I don't think there's been that much faith shaken, just because I feel the 2025 version of Houston Cougar football is still fairly ahead of schedule, and certainly a lot better than it was 12 months ago at this time.
Well, obviously, as Sam Trace mentions at Oregon State game, Houston wins that game. They've won a lot of close games.
I'd say, quite frankly, the game we least deserved to win the 7 to date. To be clear,
they've won a lot of close games year to date. Why? How has Houston been so good that they're able to pull some of these games out here, especially in the close ones?
I think you could probably take the remaining however many minutes we have to talk, just like going through all the minutia of how they've gotten there. But I would say the 2 biggest reasons why they've won these close games has been taking care of the football, something you definitely did not do well against West Virginia. But Wigman to date, I want to say, I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think it's 5 picks to date through 9 games or something around that, which I think is pretty good. The backs and receivers have been, I would say, exemplary at taking care of the football this season. Really, the turnovers have only come from Wigman, such as they've come. And I believe being a turnover positive team more often than not because that hasn't come from the defense really. I think the Cougar defense has been a bit better than expected going into the season, just given how many key guys from last year's very good defense are gone. But it's been the offense taking care of the ball. Really, that's allowed you to win a lot of the close games to date, and also like special teams. I mean, I don't think in 20 years of being a Cougar fan that I've seen a better kicker than Ethan Sanchez this year. Like, he didn't get much of a chance to do it last week against West Virginia, but having a guy like him, I mean, the Colorado game, I want to say he was 4 of 5 or 5 of 6 in that one. You probably find a way to beat Colorado without a good kicker, but that game, Cougar fans are sweating it probably similar to that Oregon State game if you don't have a guy like Ethan Sanchez who inside of 50, I would say is automatic, and outside of 50, unlike any Cougar kicker I can remember, actually has a chance to hit it. So I would say the two-pronged answer to that is mostly, but not entirely, being pretty good at taking care of the football and actually having good special teams this year.
Sam, if there's somebody watching who has not seen Connor Wegman play this year, give us a scouting report. What does he do really well? How is he going to hurt teams, and where are the areas that teams can hurt him?
It hasn't been every game. In fact, you could probably, this correlates pretty well to how well the team has done this year. I wouldn't say it was a huge surprise, but coming out of Texas A&M, we didn't think the scouting report on Connor Wegman running the ball, me and my co-host Bobby, was basically just, this guy's a little bit better at this than we thought watching his A&M film, but didn't expect it to be more than just like, maybe a couple games he runs it 5 or 6 times for 40 yards. He's actually been in some of the Cougs' best offensive efforts this season, your best threat running the football. Like, he's been, I think, not just, I'm trying not to use deceptively athletic guys, but it's not just that he's been, I think good, better in space than I expected, but he's been very smart at picking his spots running the football. And I would say throwing the ball, there's still some of the scar tissue you could see from his he would have the job, then get hurt, have the job, and then get benched. Like, you still see the confidence come and go throwing the ball at times. But I would also say, in terms of raw physical talent, this is not me saying he's the best Cougar quarterback I've seen, because there's still a number of guys ahead of him from the last 20 years on that list. But in terms of arm talent, I don't think I've seen a better Cougar quarterback. Like, if he's confident and has a clean pocket to throw out of, which has been a big if this year, has been 0% of the time, but it certainly has not been 100% of the time, he's going to be able to make some throws. Like, I think I would like to see him get a good pocket, because I think the Cougar passing game versus Knights pass defense, I think is a very fun matchup. But if you kind of hear it from my answer there, I'm not wildly confident he's going to be getting a clean pocket tomorrow night in Orlando. But when he has a clean pocket to throw out, very good. Like, I would say top 5 in terms of what the Knights have seen this season. And if the Cougs can actually establish a quarterback running game on Friday night in Orlando, I think this is going to be a very close game. If they can't, I don't know. I think you see something a la what we saw last Saturday, which is the Cougars are still able to get theirs at times, but are kind of chasing the Knights and not really operating as effectively as they could. So good throwing the ball when he has a clean pocket, good and smarter than expected runner. That's the book on Connor Wegman, I would say.
Throughout this season, the Knights have struggled repeatedly to get 1 yard on offense. What do you expect from Houston's defensive line?
If we talk about where my confidence has been shaken, in terms of the overall Cougar team, like, it was a frustrating loss last Saturday, but again, 7-2 ahead of schedule. It might be the defensive front, because going into that West Virginia game, I was as confident in what the Cougars did in run defense as any unit on this team. And then a West Virginia team that, quite honestly, has been a very bad FBS team and a very bad FBS offense specifically, just ran all over the Cougars. It may not have been the most efficient. Like, some of it they did pick up in chunks, but that shouldn't make any Cougar fan feel better about Friday, because I feel like as UCF runs the ball, it is big plays. It's not the consistent yardage. And so maybe what scares me also most specifically is that Carlos Allen, interior defensive lineman, came out of Kennesaw, wasn't one of the big transfers we were looking at going into last season on the defensive side of the ball, and then ended up being one of the most critical players. I would say a lot of interior defensive linemen, you don't see what they do in the box score. It's more the eating multiple interior linemen, allowing the linebackers behind him to make plays. And that was sort of what Carlos Allen did last season. This season, he's been doing a lot of the typical interior defensive lineman stuff and has been one of this defense's just tackles leaders, to a level you don't normally see from interior defensive linemen. Bad part for Cougar fans here. He was, I would say, I think listed as questionable. I don't think out, but I believe he was questionable in one of the recent availability reports from this game. So if the Cougars don't have Carlos Allen, I think he was, I want to say he was out for the Tech game, but I don't think that would have made much of a difference with that mismatch. If he's not available Friday night against the Knights, I think it's going to make a low on confidence Cougar defensive front that much more vulnerable to. I know it's been kind of come and go for this UCF team this year, but such as they've done anything well, I think it's been running the football, and yeah, that's giving me a lot of heartburn. I would not feel entirely settled, but I'd feel a lot better if I saw a subsequent injury report where he was probable or more likely to play than he was looking earlier this week.
You a Willie Fritz guy? You on board?
Oh yeah. I think as much as anyone can squeeze the lemon out of where U of H is resource wise in the Big 12 versus our last conference, I think he's the guy to do it. I'm not going to say we're immune to getting poached, because I think there are only a very, very small number of schools out there that are immune to their coach not being pulled by the right job or the right resource job. But I genuinely think at his age, he likes being in Houston. I think he's an ideal coach. He's very good at the pressing flesh stuff with the Cougar fan base. Even when the team was just not playing well last year, looked very hopeless on offense. He's such a personally likable guy that I don't think even in the lowest points of his first season that anyone wanted to turn against him, because he's a very, very likable guy. I think he could build something here long term. I think competing for Big 12 titles requires resources I don't know if U of H has, both institutionally and the fan base at large, given support where that could be a reasonable expectation. But I think if anyone can build a consistent middle of the Big 12-ish winner, I think it's that guy. I was very on board with the hire in late November 2023 when they made it. And if anything, the last 23 months has only made me feel stronger in this guy's favor, that he's a good coach. And you see it with the regard that the larger college football world has for him. Oh yeah, this guy's a ball coach. This guy's just built nothing but winners. And yeah, there are times where I almost feel we don't deserve him. I mean, the crowd at West Virginia certainly gave me a couple of those thoughts.
Well,
I feel bad. Yeah. It's like Sam off screen here.
How long do we
Molly
keep Sam?
here.
How long do we keep Sam frozen?
Oh, he's back. All right, Sam's back. Hold on, he's here. All right. He's good again. We got Sam. He's back.
Shout out to Cox Internet, the company you do not want to get internet for if you live in Las Vegas.
You were talking when you
proud
froze.
sponsor the Sons of UCF.
I looked down and I saw the little no internet thing. And I was like, how long have I been talking about Willie Fritz and not actually been live? Sorry,
when you froze, you were talking about the robust announced 25,049 fans at last week's game. How many of those will be making the trip to Orlando?
Not a percentage above one. Orlando is a good destination for that, but I don't know. I think also to give. I do not want to defend our fan base after that turnout, but it's rough traveling for a Friday game. I will give them that. Sum up the answer earlier. Very, very excited about Willie Fritz being the coach here, and I believe if anyone can turn this team into a consistent winner, it's that guy.
Why does UCF own space?
Loaded question. Very loaded. I'll just say this, and your co-host gave I think a very good explanation of how UCF is inextricably tied to the space race and NASA and stuff like that. So I think I'll give my diplomatic, my politician answer here, even though I never would want to have that occupation, that if any school out there has a strong claim to space, it's certainly your university.
How about the basketball team? You feel pretty good about them, though?
I do. I do. I think it's going to be a little rougher in November and December than last year's team was, which actually for a team that didn't lose for 3 or 4 months in regulation had a pretty rough November. I saw a lot of incredible stuff in the opener against a very outmatched team, a team that you can't really tell anything about playing in the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. But I think Chris Sinak Jr., legit lottery pick. I do think LJ Cryer and Jaywan Roberts and I think it's going to be felt in November and December specifically. Those two guys, bigger misses than maybe, like the Cougar fan base obviously loves those two guys. Lots of appreciation for those two guys, especially Jaywan Roberts. But I have seen the preseason a lot, it's not going to be seamless. Like when you lose two guys like that who have been just foundational players on two very good teams, 3, 4 in Jaywan's case, that's going to be felt. But I do feel pretty confident in February and March this is going to be one of the teams contending for the Big 12 and a team that's going to be projected to have a very small number next to its name in March. Feeling pretty good, though I do believe the incorporation of immensely talented, very good freshmen like Sinak and Kingston Flemings, who also started the opener, and Isaiah Harwell, who's another 5-star recruit coming off the bench. I think there's going to be some growing pains at that, but I would still bet on this team long term.
We'll bet on you anytime, Sam Raz, Scott and Holman podcast. Thanks for being with us on Suns Live.
Thanks for having me, guys. Sorry for my crappy internet.
We enjoyed you frozen, so it was good. He answered that question diplomatically about space.
Yeah, I don't understand the fight about space. I mean, we were here first. What are you going to do? I mean, it's just,
but I like how many other schools have claimed it. Purdue,
space,
right?
Everyone loves space all of a sudden. We're all into space. Who knew?
A good week for the Sons of UCF. A lot of content. Do you happen to know the video count for the week?
I felt like every day there was at least 3 to 4 that I was posting. So there were 3, carry the 5, 17.
I like that. Well, we need Miguel to fact check this for us. Miguel, can you?
I thought you had the answer to that.
No. I played UCF Mike. I asked you a question. I didn't know the answer to.
I'm rusty in that genre, so I apologize.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
And for some reason, Fox said, you know what game has to be seen by the whole world? UCF Texas Tech. So we're going to put the 3:30 prime time Fox Fox. So that's very cool. So yeah, I'm missing that. But yeah, I am back. I did a little Waco road trip to see UCF play Baylor. And
did they play Baylor?
To that.
So it would help me on my picks. I had Elo I had Baylor in the schedule draft.
You had this is your run now because you've got
Sweet.
Houston, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, and Baylor, and now you've lost with Baylor. Adam and I each have 2 wins each, so you're going to have to win 2 out of these final 3. You really need Houston.
Spoiler, I'm probably not going to get 2 more, but hopefully I get the space jerseys. If I don't, then.
This really is the season, right? The fan base will definitely check out if they do not hold on to the space game.
Yeah, no, this will be a tough one. Yeah, this will be a tough one to come back from. I think all the good feelings about Frost being back and 2017, I think that all goes in the bonfire if something catastrophic happens against Houston. I just love when you said to Elo, by the way, you've got these next 2 games. He says, great, what a time to be alive. Just how excited Eric Lopez is at the upcoming schedule.
Where are you on the worst loss in the Frost tenure? There's 6, including the bowl, 7 plus these 4. There's 11 total games that Frost has lost as a Knight head coach.
Yeah, I saw some of this going on social media. I think Cure Bowl
worse
I think Cure Bowl is right there for me. I didn't love the Kansas game this year. And Baylor's in that conversation too. I know UCF Mike was talking Michigan. I didn't expect to win that game, so getting blown out there wasn't too catastrophic for me. I think it's Kansas, Cure Bowl, and Baylor. That's the medal stand for me.
You holding on to this preseason stat of yours, 28 points. Knights need to score 28 points, or it could be a challenge to win.
And that clearly is the case. I mean, this offense obviously has not been able to produce that level of scoring, and Sam talked about, hey, if we get down a little bit, like UCF's not a team that can come from behind and win games, right? So UCF's going to have to start fast and get out the fast starts and try to hold teams off. That seems to be the recipe for success here. But I mean, hand up if you think that this team can go in there and put up 30 points consistently. Like it seems to come in spurts, and I just don't know how you predict that. So I hope, but I don't have any level of confidence in what you're going to see offensively against Houston on Friday and against the other three opponents as we kind of work down the rest of the schedule.
Shift to hoops now. Men's basketball 82, Hofstra 78. 4 nights in double digits. Riley Kugel with 19, and Nick Williams has our opening game report.
UCF men's basketball claimed its first win of the season against Hofstra on Monday with a final score of 82-78, which for some UCF fans was a little too close for comfort. But for head coach Johnny Dawkins, he believes his guys just need to loosen up before heading into their next matchup.
Well, I just want our guys to kind of calm down. I mean, it was coming from a good place. Everybody's a little tight as the first game, and guys are just out here, getting to know each other on the court for the first time, with regards to playing someone else. It's only our third game. And so these guys are figuring a lot of things out, and we're figuring a lot of things out rotation-wise. You bring Pacheco back this game and you insert him. There are a lot of moving parts, but through all that, they allowed us to coach them. They kept believing that they could win, and they made the plays necessary in order to pull the game out.
The Knights will face off against the Vanderbilt Commodores this Saturday at 4 p.m., where hopefully the first game jitters will be long gone. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Nick Williams, and this has been your UCF Men's Basketball Minute.
Right, Nick, basketball Saturday at 4 against Vandy, then Florida A&M on Tuesday at 7. By the way, add a little PTO update. Mr. Williams will be missing Saturday's game. Something about his 22nd birthday. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Didn't seem, like he needed to miss a game, but we'll have a new 1-2 punch. Octo and Diego will be covering the game. I'll be out there as well. So men's basketball back on Saturday. Happy early birthday to Nick Williams. We go around the kingdom now. Volleyball just swept Houston. That's a good precursor, good appetizer.
Hey.
They beat Houston 3-0. They're now 14-9, 5-7. They have number 24 Iowa State Saturday, and then they are at Cincinnati Wednesday. Men's soccer, they lost 2-0 at 17th ranked Marshall. They are the 5 seed. They'll face Georgia Southern Sunday in the Sun Belt Soccer Championship. That's a 7:00 start, ESPN Plus. Knights beat Georgia Southern back in October 3-0. Women's basketball 1-0 following a 75-36 win over Bethune-Cookman. They host Charlotte on Sunday at 2. And women's soccer, they had a 2-0 lead at half against Colorado in the Big 12 tournament, give up 3 second-half goals. They are knocked out. They are an NCAA tournament team. The selection show will be Monday afternoon. We'll find out if the Knights host or are on the road, but most likely an NCAA tournament team. It is that time for the mailbag.
So it's a mailbag. So what?
So what? Do you know whose mailbag that is?
It's that time again. Time to open the Brian W. Peterson Sons of UCF mailbag.
It means a lot. Sons of UCF, man, listen, they gave me a great campaign. Sons of UCF, baby.
Hi, fellas.
That open's going to stretch out to what's the high watermark there? You had about a minute plus on an open.
Yeah, I think we had like 6-7 videos on that. There was a shirtless Brian Peterson for a while there.
Yeah, let's not go there again.
Well, I know we're not doing. There was a UCF Mike. Robert's wondering why I'm laughing. I didn't put this on screen, but Michael wondering, was Nick trying not to wake up his parents with that video, which made me laugh.
I razzed Nick because when he sent the video over to be reviewed, I said, why are you holding the little mic there? Why are you holding it? He didn't want to clip it on. So
yeah, look, teach us something.
Yeah. At 10-12 Network, who has the better season, UCF men's or women's basketball? That'd be the men.
Yeah, I think it's men. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect from the Lady Knights. I know we don't call them that, but I'm not quite sure what to expect from that team. So give me the men's team.
When did they stop calling them the Lady Knights?
I don't know if they ever did. I feel like that's never been the thing, and I probably just broke like 19 UCF creeds when I did that right here.
Robert at 2 letters, 2 words. It was good seeing him on this Baylor trip. What does it mean when someone says the team is a game plan outfit? He's referring to Baylor head coach Dave Aranda talking about the Knights.
Well, I'll go to his co-publisher, Latavius Murray, who told me that what you heard in that clip, it appears that what Dave Aranda is saying is they don't really have an identity. Like each game, they plan something different, some way to try to attack you. So I think that's what Aranda was getting at. And I think the question is becoming like, okay, well, doesn't everybody game plan for a team, right? And I think, like, you know, the way Latavius described it, you have your shell of what you do, and then you kind of sprinkle in some stuff you think they're vulnerable to. But it seems like perhaps that's inverted for UCF, and they're trying to figure out all your vulnerabilities and then maybe get to a couple things they want to do. Is that the symptom of a team that's still coming together, 60, 70, 80, however many new players, the staff coming together, perhaps? But if you get it wrong, Trace, you know what you get? You get 30-3 is what you get if you don't get that game plan correct.
That's what you get. Emptiness 4 is UCF single-handedly saving Dave Aranda's job. Gave him a reprieve, made him look brilliant for a week.
Let's find out. So next 3 games for Baylor: Utah, Arizona, Houston. They go 2-3 there. I mean, maybe Arena's got a shot.
They're 5-4. They need one of those. None of that's easy. Arizona, maybe the best.
If they go 2-3 there, I think Arena maybe is safe. But it's such a difficult time to fire your coach. Right before we started, Trace, I saw Wisconsin announces Luke Fickell coming back.
It's not a good time now. There's too many.
Not had a good year, but do you want to get in the pool with everybody else who's looking for coaches? So I think if you can afford to keep your coach for another season, and as long as they don't do something catastrophic, I think you can. Now, if he loses these 3, Dave Aranda could be our new defensive coordinator next year. But if he wins 2 of these 3, I think you have an option there.
Look for Michael and Andrew Gregg out at UCF Baseball, Black and Gold World Series this weekend. Much like UCF owns space, the Sons of UCF own the UCF Baseball beat. Andrew out at Rollins for the Knights and Tars game this past weekend as fall ball continues. At Black Gold _Ed, what were your biggest takeaways from the Timo impromptu presser? Nothing much. 18 minutes and nothing much. I don't think we learned anything.
Yeah, I think little of this, little of that, right? Like, I think he kind of touched on what we've already kind of heard and seen, right? I mean, I appreciate him meeting with the media. I particularly appreciate him doing it on the road, right? I mean, a lot of folks are traveling for UCF, right? And it's easy to do these things at home, but it's a good reward for the folks like yourself and the other guys who are out there covering the team to get some time with Terry Mohajir. So appreciate him doing that. Appreciate him doing that on the road as an opportunity to have you all ask questions. But I don't think you learned anything groundbreaking in that 18-minute exchange.
So from what I understand, his son's senior night was Friday, plays high school football in the Orlando area. He was at that. He flew out early Saturday and then made the drive to make it to the game. So some difficult scheduling for Terry Mohajir last weekend in Waco. At Brian W. Peterson, what's more likely to happen? Fatalist here. Fatalist. A UCF win over Texas Tech or BYU, or UCF losing to Oklahoma State at home? It's got to be losing to Oklahoma
We
State.
know the answer. It's losing to Oklahoma State at home. That's the problem. He's not wrong, and I understand why you'd like to have a word with him, but that's the more likely of those 2 options if we're being honest here.
Which is the most likely road win? At Texas Tech, you get Texas Tech, maybe they lose to BYU, maybe they're deflated, or BYU is sewn up a spot in the Big 12 championship, doesn't need to win, takes it a little easy.
Out of those games, if I have to pick one, I guess I pick Texas Tech. BYU could be a night game. BYU is pretty crazy at night, right?
Like 4 losses ever at night or some nonsense.
Yeah, like long flight, weather implications after Thanksgiving weekend. Although maybe, I don't know, maybe that gets BYU, but I guess of those 2, give me Texas Tech.
At Scott Wildcat, has your confidence in Scott Frost's second tenure will be viewed as a success whenever it ends? Gone up, gone down, or stayed the same from where it was before the season kicked off? That's interesting. At 4-4 through 8 games, if he loses the last 4, he's the same record as last year. He has set expectations that it would be a rebuild. I think Knights fans have gotten into their head that 6 wins is what needs to happen. Got to win Friday. I don't know. Nothing's changed for me. I'm in the same place.
I agree. It's tough. Like if you think about where we are, right? Like if where we are right now, you have overachieve, right? Which would be you have 5-6 wins. You have underachieve. You have about 2-3 wins, or you have right about where you thought they would be, which is 4-4. I think a lot of us had them in this area, right? So maybe didn't get there the way we wanted to, and the games you thought would win and lose have flipped and flopped. But if you're looking at overachieve, underachieve, right on schedule. I feel like at 4-4, we're on that schedule. So nothing really changed yet. I do think, though, coaches talk a lot about getting information and learning about their teams. I think we've learned a lot about this team. And so I'm curious to figure out what the next phase looks like, right? How do you build off of this? I don't know if we'll find that out the last 4 games, but as we are right now, I think this is pretty much where we all thought we would be at, right? 4-4 and a team fighting for bowl eligibility. We're there. So I guess we're meeting the expectations that were set in advance of the season.
A little more skeptical is Golden Knight _2. Is it time to ask if we made the wrong hire with Scott? I know it's year 0, but the program is in the worst state it's been in decades, with no hope in sight. Team has 0 talent, no leaders, no identity other than being a free win to opponents. It feels humiliating. I put the questions out, the call for questions on Monday. It feels like this was written Saturday afternoon following the Baylor game.
I quibble a little.
It's too much.
I quibble a little bit with no hope in sight. I quibble a little bit with decades. I mean, 10 years ago was 2015. We didn't win a single game that year. Right?
That was a terrible, terrible year.
So I understand we're right on the line of that, right? So is this something where you say to yourself, hey, like it could or should be better? Yeah, I think we all would want that, but I think it's too early to say this was not the right hire, right? I think you've got to give any coach at least 3 to 4 years to try to work their program and figure out if they're the right guy or not. So I think it's fine right now. Are there cracks? Sure. Are we starting to really see how bad this rebuild needs to be? Yes. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. But I quibble a little bit with there's no hope in sight. I think you're seeing some good stuff, but it's certainly, I think we'd all want it to be a little different than it is right now.
At UCF Knights win. By the way, how do you have these questions? Do you have them on screen? Do you have them printed out? What do you do for the questions? You got them right there. I'm going to need help. I'm going to need help deciphering something here.
Oh, okay.
At UCF Knights win, hear me out. 9 offensive linemen, Cole Kozlowski at fullback with Dylan Wade as the Wildcat. Go get one. Now, could you help me fill in? What's he saying here? Go get one F.
Forkin.
Yard.
Forkin, yeah. Yeah, just forking right there.
What you think? I said Paul Rubelt in that game where they were against Kansas, just fall into the end zone. 6'10", just fall.
I quibble with this. I mean, we got 9 offensive linemen and Dylan Wade and Cole Kozlowski. Just put Cole Kozlowski in the Wildcat. Give me another blocker up front there if we're going to do that. I don't know if there's legal formation.
Play this year?
Has there been a trick play there? I mean,
there's nothing.
Question. How do you find? I guess there's been some of that razzle dazzle, like go this way, go that way stuff, but I don't know that I've seen like a real trick play. No,
there's been no throwing.
You can't have 9 linemen up front. You need to have somebody on the perimeter. I don't know how the I need Swoboda back to draw this up to me on the grease board. I can't visualize this.
At Knights 24/7 on Blue Sky, with the state of the offensive line and the speed at the wide receiver position, could Frost find success by intentionally moving the pocket and having Jackson roll out? Seems like it.
You're assuming he's healthy. Like you're assuming he wants to make Taven susceptible to getting hit. Every time he gets hit, he goes right for that left shoulder, and he looks like he's not getting back up, and he does sometimes. But I think it could be an injury consideration of not wanting him to take more shots on the body than he has to. So if he's healthy and he can endure that, then yeah, sure, I think move stuff around. But I'll also say this, Trace, you're in every post game presser, every Monday presser. Frost has kind of talked about like we give these guys too much and. I don't know. Could get a little bit murky there. Like,
I don't like that answer though.
I don't love it either. By the way, is there too much complexity with that? Is he trying to tell us?
I don't love it, Ace.
We're not a smart enough team to execute that. So yes, in theory, that would be how you would diagnose and solve that. Do you have a healthy quarterback? And do you have a team that has the ability to actually go through and execute that fully? I don't know about that one.
By the way, a week after Houston turns the ball over 4 times against West Virginia, how many turnovers do you think the Knights create?
I think 1. We have a late addition for a question here, by the way. This is from Dolly. Do you use or care for the phrase, pardon my French?
No, and Brian Peterson used it in a text message to me earlier today. No, I don't.
So he's recycling those because I got the same one. So he is absolutely recycling those. Brian, we're on to you, buddy.
At UCF Guy 1203. Thank you, Dolly, for the late ad there. No, I don't use it. I don't ever say it.
I don't think those words are French, by the way. That's where I'm confused.
I don't think the word Brian used in that text message was French.
Not a French word. Yeah, absolutely.
UCF Guy 1203 on Blue Sky talking about women's soccer. They'll probably make the NCAA tournament, but if they lose to a lower seed, is Tiffany Roberts-Sadek out as coach? Nah, I don't think she's out as coach. With that being said, since she knows UCF legend Michelle Akers pretty well, should UCF soccer fans take advantage of the situation and raise money to get the soccer field named after Akers? I do think the soccer field should be named after Michelle Akers. He wants us to do like a GoFundMe campaign.
Well, does that require a money raise? Get some paint and put it on the field. I got $30 to give you right now. Go to Sherwin-Williams, paint Michelle Akers field on there, and we're good. I don't know how much money we need for that.
Graffiti the field before the game. Scott Leinert, what's your confidence level for UCF getting a win on Friday? 50-50.
I have 51% is what I wrote down.
51, yes.
Yes, a space game. Give me space game magic. 51%.
Another one from Scott Wildcat. We'll wrap up with what's been the best space game uniform so far during this tradition. I just like the moon helmets the most. I don't really know that I have a favorite.
Yeah, 2019 is the moon helmet you're referring to. Yeah. I think that was a good one. I low key like 2021. I know a lot of people did, and that was the white with like the block letters that were different, like periodic elements or some nonsense on that. I didn't love the all Carolina blues. That was a little bit too much. The JRP year space U across the chest, that's fine, but kind of generic. Last year, the gradient, I don't know if it hit really well. So 2020 was gray with the sleeves. It looked kind of weird. So give me 2019 and 2021.
So if UCF were to lose, are you in the camp burn the uniform? Are you a burn the uniform?
Well, burn
never wear it again combo?
Burn this one. Yeah, let's not wear this one. But I mean, they got to keep coming up with more and more stuff. How'd you like Taven Jackson in that interview that Octavius got for us? Said, I kind of wish this was our color all the time.
Yeah, not a fan, Ace.
I wish it was killing you when Ryan Swoboda was saying we're the Citronauts. I could just feel you seething.
Yeah.
With Citronauts are undefeated,
again,
Citronauts don't lose.
For the record, I'm fine with it.
Who's keeping these records?
Once a year. What I didn't care for is like volleyball's trotted out of the space game 3 times this year. Don't overkill. Let every sport do it one time. That's all. All right. Thank you, everybody, for your questions.
Games. I think you have so many matches in games. Like you kind of.
No, one time a year.
Mm.
One time a year. All right. It's my turn for questions.
Well, it's probably what's in the box. Yeah. That's Alumni Hall you have on the cover there, Trace. And that's a great place for you to stop before the game on Friday. If you don't have your Space U gear, you want to make sure you're ready to go. 4100 North Alafaya Trail, right there in the corner, right there next to Bar Louie. Stop at the Bar Louie, get yourself a little snack. Go on over to Alumni Hall, get yourself some Space U gear, go to the stadium, cheer for a night's win. Alumni Hall is where you want to be, or alumnihall.com, by the way. Search UCF if you want some gear there.
I'm going to ask you 2. I've got a lot of questions.
Your day, your way.
Yeah. You could go into a time machine. You can change any one thing in UCF football history. What do you change?
Mackenzie Milton doesn't get injured.
Where do you rank that in the greatest what-ifs? Do they win every game in 2018? Is that just the biggest run?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's up there. I mean, you're off the top of my head, like, could we have gotten to a conference sooner? What if we had, didn't get shellacked by what's her face and Tampa? I mean, there's some good what ifs there. What if we got to a bowl game in Dante's senior year? That is important, though. Yeah, and that's up there. That's on the medal stand for sure. I'd have to go and make an exhaustive list, but yes, that's
maybe we'll work on that as a topic in the off season on various shows.
Whoa, this can't be true, Eric Edwards. The UCF said you need $1 million to make that Michelle Akers.
Who at UCF said that, Eric? Who said that? I mean, said it to you? Who said it?
I don't know. I got.
Next time we get Terry Mahajer, Eric, try to remind me to ask him how much it costs.
I got $30. I'll have Michelle Akers field done for you by morning.
All right. Here's would you rather. I've got a would you rather in there. Would you rather?
Well, I'm sorry, you didn't answer that question, by the way.
For me, it's Mackenzie Milton. Yeah.
Is there a second? Do you have what's on the medal stand with you there?
I had only thought of the one, to be honest with you.
What if Frost never leaves in 2017?
That's a good one.
Does this thing keep rolling? Is he still here? Or is he our version of Bobby Bowden that stays forever right now? Like, will that
happen anywhere anymore? I guess Lane Kiffin has an opportunity to be a long stander at Ole Miss if he wants to be. And
yeah,
that's a good athletic director Steve Sloan sort of messing up UCF's chances to get in the Big East at the time is a big.
That's what I'm saying. What if the Jen shafting didn't happen?
Yeah.
What if we never had Keith Tribble?
Yeah, and for the record, on the record, That's still the worst.
Who's keeping these
interview
records, by the way? Who's
Eric
writing this stuff
Edwards?
down? Miguel?
Miguel's behind the scenes doing it.
Okay.
That's my least favorite Suns interview.
I know. You say it all the time.
Ever. Yeah, I tell you that. Well, every time you bring him up, I bring it up. Would you rather run as fast as the Flash or be as strong as Superman?
Good one on screen from Matt Dolan. What if Danny White never left?
Is Danny White and Scott Frost legendary because they left?
Sorry, what was your fastest who or strongest?
Would you rather run as fast as the Flash or be as strong as Superman?
Strong as Superman. Where am I going?
Did you see the new Superman movie?
I don't do those kind of things. But where am I going that need to be that fast? I can
What are
use
you lifting that you need to be that
strength
strong?
in every amount. I could just knock down this wall, and I have a bigger room here. Like I can't run through. What am I gonna do there? I'm just fast in my room. Like no, give me strength.
Yeah, see, I don't know how much I'd need the strength. Like if I just, needed to go to a Cubs game. There, done.
What if you have a really tricky jar of pickles? What are you gonna do? Superman, it's just right open.
I would just run to some place with pickles that were not in a tight jar.
Where's that at?
I don't know. I just think the ability to go.
Well, do I still have the ability to do that?
Well, he's right about that. Superman does
stuff
fast.
too. Can I
what do you think a race looks like between Superman? But Superman soars. He's fast up. He's not fast on the ground necessarily. We don't see him running a lot, do we?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Out of my depth in this conversation, I'm not a comic book superhero kind of guy. Much like our good friend Econ Advisor with some some cheer here.
Superheroes are impossible. The thing on Superman, I haven't seen the movie. It's on HBO or Max or whatever.
Oh,
it is.
Eric Edwards coming for you, buddy. He's going to contact you.
Oh, okay.
Is that a threat?
He
Eric?
probably wants money. He's trying to raise money. He's trying to raise $1 million.
$1 million, apparently.
He posted something like if 2,000 people gave $500. Will you and Elo start that? I'm like, well, when Elo's in for 500, let me know. Elo puts the first 500 in.
Check your DMs, Trace. So what are you doing?
I have not seen that. I'll have to look. Superman never gets blamed for all the destruction he causes in the city. Like he's knocking down skyscrapers. There's always a mess. Outruns a train.
Again, out of my depth here. Not a comic book kind of.
You've never been, or you don't like the current incarnation?
Never been. No.
Reason?
I have a hard time.
Elo's got a coupon. That's what he got.
I have a hard time. Like, I got a lot of stuff going on in life. Like when I would sit down and want to watch a movie, I don't want to have to like think too much. Right. So like when I'm watching a movie and they're like,
is there on the Flash?
I don't know. It's like this guy touches the portal and it turns this thing blue, but he has the Krypton and he can.
Can you
do
explain
this.
the
Like,
Infinity
I just lost all
Stones?
that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. No. I either want to watch documentaries, things that actually already happened or things that are going to happen so I can understand them, or something like so stupid like a Dumb and Dumber that I just laugh the entire time and have to worry about who has the Krypton, who can touch this thing, who's in the other world, what portal somebody went to. I don't understand. I don't have time for all that.
They still have fan of the multiverse, are you?
I don't know what that is.
Groupon?
No, I know what Groupon is. I don't know what the multiverse is.
Elo seems like a Groupon guy.
Yeah. Weird thing. Sports and girl. You're not, I mean, I didn't understand all this stuff, Dolly. I just don't get it.
So I understand this is a
All his
star-studded cast attending the space game. It's a who's who. There may be a red carpet. UCF Mike,
Krypton.
you're going to be there?
Yeah, late game plan change. I'll be in the house. UCF Mike, some of our buddies from college. I think
Tailgate? What time are you arriving?
It's a great question. TBD. I mean, it's a Friday. I'm trying to get some work stuff out of the way here so I can get down there in time. And, I know you'll be there. The Suns Army will be bouncing around there someplace. You never know who you. I think Robert's going to be in attendance.
Robert will be there. Is it true
friend.
JP Gilbert is coming?
I do believe that's true. Andrew has a question for you. Should he delete the picture of him and Antonio Brown?
Yeah, I just sent that to him. So Antonio Brown, for those of you who have not seen it, arrested for attempted murder. He had fled to Dubai. I don't know the background on who he attempted to murder, say police, but yeah.
Devin's got a tailgate. Devin, drop. Where are we going? Where are we? A tailgate in the mall is always all right. I don't know what Inception is, Nick. at the Nick Williams report. Look, these kids are just getting too formal.
That's TV's Nick Williams, and happy birthday
the
to
Nick Williams report. It sounds like Daily Show.
I want to thank Ryan Swoboda for being with us. Reports from Andrew and Nick, and as well Sam from the Scott and Holman podcast. Adam, safe travels to Orlando. Do you all believe in space magic? We will find out on Friday night in the Bounce House. For Adam Eaton, I'm Trey Strelko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
Do you believe in magic?
That's the end?